Okay, Jordi and Sito, welcome to Second Nature. We are going to be talking all about the very exciting new outdoor brand NNormal that you guys helped to run in partnership with, in my opinion, the greatest athlete of all time, a certain Kilian Jornet. Jordi, I think it would be best actually to start with you and your relationship with Killian. I know you managed him for many years through your business Limbus. So maybe explain Limbus, your relationship with Killian, and what it was like to manage one of the greatest athletes of all time's career.
Great. So hello, Dion and Aaron. Thanks for having us. And well, yes, as you were saying, I've been working with Killian since the last 13 or 14 years, and it was such an amazing journey, like full of change. So we have seen all the trail running evolution and also all the Killian's evolution, and it was super cool. Starting from like more focusing on the core, like with focus on Killian more on races, then evolving with the Summits of My Life project, which it was like an amazing one, switching more between races and projects, and then Himalayas, and then now doing this partnership together with Normal, no? So like during all these times, I think that what impressed me most about Killian is like he's very like a smart guy. Like he knows very well what he wants, and he's like such a easy guy to work with. So he always is listening like all the opinions in the house and like taking the decisions like all together as a team. As you were saying, with Limbus, we were taking care of the management, all the contracts, the image rights, but also the PR communication. And he's someone who is trusting the team. He's a team player, and it's like for us, it's like super easy to work with.
Lucy, any questions for Jordi as it relates to managing Killian? Of course,
I got a
Aaron's also from the sports marketing world, so I'm sure this will be fun.
yeah, as we've both managed some of the greatest ultra runners of all time, right, Dylan?
Yeah, as we were joking, Dylan Bowman, Kilian Jornet, we're basically the same. Yeah. Trophy
Well,
shelves the same. Yeah.
I mean, I guess this sort of leads into, what we're going to talk about today, but I've got to imagine you're managing one of the greatest athletes of all time and at the absolute top of the sport. How do you, in that scenario, how did you figure out what you should chase down, what you should accept from the offers that are coming your way, from the opportunities that were in front of you? How do you choose what the right one is? Did you have a system? Did you have a filter? Was there any kind of thought process that you put in place? Because I've got to imagine everybody wanted a piece of Killian, especially. Well, I mean, he's still winning all the stuff, but I mean, how do you decide?
Well, I think that like the question summarizing like saying a lot of times no, and like a few years, and yes, like we were filtering like a lot of proposals like during all these years. We had like so many proposals, and from the Limbus team or from the Killian team is thinking that the athlete is going first, so you need to be very authentic and very like following like the what Killian wants to do and trying to protect his character, no? Like from our side, we feel that Killian doesn't fit to some kind of, not brands, but it's, so you need to find the partner who allows you to be who you are. And I think that is the kind of relationship that we had with our partners. So like we didn't have so much partners during all the years, but we had like a very long term relationship, which I feel and all the team felt that it was the right way to do the things. So we are super grateful to everyone who worked with us in the past, like, and of course Salomon, no, which like allow us to also develop like Killian as a character. They were trusting Killian in his dreams and in his projects, and I think that like a big part of who he is today is thanks to them, and also thanks to Killian and his vision, no? Like I think that it was this 50-50 and this well balanced. but we had some other partners, and I think that the main thing was that, right, to be to have this trust, to be able to talk about like almost all the topics, and to follow this craziness slash dreams that Killian was bringing in every stage during all these years.
So as we move towards talking about normal, of course, Killian is a fantastic athlete, but as you mentioned, Jordi, he's also very detail oriented. He's a student of the game. I was actually just yesterday reading a little bit more of his trip report from the Alpine Connections project that we'll talk about. And I know he's kept notebooks full of sketches of product. So I would love to, as we move towards talking about normal, talk about the original insight or the original moment where you guys together started to formulate the idea for Killian being part of starting a new brand and then eventually making that connection with Sito, Kemper, and the team that's established now. So just give us that origin story of normal.
I think that idea was in Killian's head, or like in everyone's head for so many years, no? That this sometimes we should do something. Killian is he likes the product. He's like an absolute freak about products. You know that when he was 4 or 5 years in the school, he was drawing like products, and it's something that it was always on his mind. And as he was evolving, it was something that we had here like on our head. And but then we knew that we needed to find the right partner, because like if we wanted to do something, we knew that it's not easy, like and then now we can confirm that it's not easy to launch a brand. But it was just to think like which was the right moment, which was the right partner. And then, like as most of the things in life, like you are, so we were not looking for that moment. That moment came. We met like with Camper team, with the Flusha family, with Sito, and it was something very natural. No, it was also like at the end of the contract of Salomon. So like it's these times that it feels very natural that it arrived at that point, and and then it's okay. You need to decide if it's a good movement or not. And but I think that it was very natural. No, Sito can also like give the Camper point of view, but like from the Killian point of view, we were talking. Of course, it was a big discussion because it was a big movement. But I think that it's very how Killian does the things. No, like it's a kind of the summit of my life spirit, no, like try to do things on a different way, and like taking some risk. For sure there is risk on that decision, but is I think that is something that he and like all the team is enjoying now a lot. And like of course, like as I was saying, we are facing like a lot of challenge, but it's super fun and everyone is learning a lot. So it reminds me like a lot of this summit of my life project. Like we want to climb the Everest like in a few years, but we need to go step by step and learning as much as we are doing things.
I'm curious about that moment and the thought process that was kind of going into it, because with respect to Solomon, I've got to imagine they probably would have made anything that he asked them to make, because his insight is maybe the most clear. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong on this one, but was the point for him to have full control of everything that's made, or was it more about building a brand that he could really direct the vision of? What was the most important thing in that moment?
Sito, maybe this is a good time to bring you in.
Yes. Hello, Dylan. Hello, Aron. Nice to meet you and to see you. I've been following your podcast for a few months. So first of all, congratulations for a good job you are doing for the industry.
Thank
Trying
you.
to share knowledge from everybody. I think this is very positive for all of us in the industry. So congratulations. No? Then thank you for giving us the opportunity to explain our new adventure with Normal and Camper and Killian. And yeah, a bit the story from from our side is, well, I've been working in Camper for 20 years. And Camper is a shoe business that belongs to the Flusha family, which is a family that has been doing shoes for 150 years. They started with the first shoe factory in Mallorca, one of the first ones in Spain. So now, my boss, Miguel, is the fourth generation of this family. And we have pictures in the company. So if someday you want to visit us in Mallorca, you can see a bit the story. And then during the pandemic, we realized that this big trend, people going to the outdoors, no? And also the Camper family has been also always very entrepreneurship. We started with dress up shoes, then we built Camper 50 years ago. More is a brand focused on casual design shoes, no? More urban and more focused on aesthetics, no? And then we thought, it was a moment to think about what's the next, the next brand we could launch in the group. We thought about the sport, we thought about outdoor, and we came to the conclusion that trail running brand could be good for us. We started this idea without Killian, so the idea was to launch internally with some local athletes, no? But then due to friends of friends, we met Killian, we met Jordi, and we realized that we were very aligned. First we discovered Killian as a person, because obviously you see him as the athlete or the trail running hero. I myself am a trail running, so it was interesting the first days, as you can imagine, no? But then the reality is we met the Killian person, and Jordi and the team, and we like them as partners, no? So it was less relevant at that moment that Killian was the fastest guy in the mountain. So it was, okay, this is, as Jordi was saying, Killian is smart. He has a very clear vision about business. And we were very aligned in the values about what type of company we would like to build. No? So Camper brings this long-term vision, this know-how about how to manage an international brand. Camper is a mid-sized brand. It's not huge, but it's not small. It's present in more than 80 countries. So we have some know-how, no?
Wow.
And also, we had this idea that nowadays companies have to give back, no? And obviously, Killian is very focused on giving back to nature. And from our side, we believe also companies have to give back to society. No? So we have the idea to build a company that can challenge the industry, in this case, the outdoor industry, trying to do things in a different way, in a more sustainable way, trying to create good jobs for people, for passionate people that love the industry. So we realized this, no? We were aligning the values, and also we saw we were very complementary. So Killian has the credibility in the audio industry. He has this product know-how, and also this vision about where the industry is going, no? And then from our side, obviously, we know how to make shoes after this many years. We have a big team in Mallorca. We have the supply chain, we have the finance, we have the technology, we have the HR. So we thought, okay, the two partners are very complementary. So we decided to launch the brand 2 years ago, and so far so good. So we're happy to have this partnership.
So interesting. Thank you so much for that background, Sito. And for our audience here, Jordi operates as the brand director, Sito as the CEO. So both bring very interesting perspectives to the conversation. So building off this origin story, those of us who know Killian obviously know that he's much more than just a trail runner, right? But you have to start somewhere, right? So you start with trail running product. So from my perspective, I'd love to hear the strategy around that. I think the vision for Normal is to be a well-rounded outdoor brand, not specifically a trail running brand, though that's where it started.
Yeah.
Whoever you think is best to answer this question, I'd love to just hear about, starting somewhere, but then the vision for expansion in the same way that Killian is a very well-rounded mountain athlete. I'm sure Normal wants to be a well-rounded mountain brand.
I go for it if you don't mind, Jordi. So a bit the story of the brand, of how we build it, and so basically we started with the mission of the company, which is the purpose, no? And the mission of the company is inspiring people to enjoy and respect nature. So this means that we are trying to build a company that can help people to go to the outdoors, to go to the mountains or to the sea, whatever, no. And also at the same time take consciousness that is a fragile environment, and we have to take care of it. No? So this is the why of the company. No? Then the next thing we did was, let's look for a name of the company. No? And we came up with Normal. I don't know if you know the story, but Normal comes from Norway and Mallorca, because Killian lives in Norway and we are in Mallorca. So we took the first letters of the two names, no? And the double N, I don't know if you imagine what does it mean, because there are a lot of theories, but the reality is means no normal, meaning that we're going to try to do things differently, no? And also we had the joke that Killian is a no normal person that is at the same time very normal, no? So we were playing with these things, and we came up with Normal, which is a very easy name in all the languages, no? Then after that we define the vision of the company, which is answering your question is where we want to go, no? But I think it's important to start with the why, no? And where is, we would like to build an international outdoor brand, no? Obviously, we have to start small and we have to be humble, and it will take years. But we have the vision to build a big brand. No? Then we'll see we will make it or not. I think we have the assets of Killian, camper, and the normal passionate team nowadays, no? That if we do things right and we don't do big mistakes, maybe we can make it. We will see it in the next years, no? And then regarding the strategy of categories and sport, so we decided to start with trail running and footwear, because it's a niche sport, it's growing, and we thought we know that we have the know-how how make shoes, no? With the know-how of camper plus Killian, and we have also access to the right supply chain to make products with quality, no? So the idea is to start from there, try to grow to a relevant size in trail running, and then if we make it and we get the resources, then try to expand to mountaineering, maybe focusing more on apparel. This is a bit the strategy of the company.
Very, very cool. So I guess building off of that, I think, as you mentioned, you have to start somewhere, and it is hard. Challenges are encountered, but you do have the support and backing of a well-established business with 150 years of history. So it strikes me that there's a contrast there, sort of having a long legacy of building successful products in the market, and also like an entrepreneurial startup spirit. How do those two things mesh? How does Camper support Normal practically? And I'd love to start beginning to talk about some of the, harder learnings and the challenges of starting something from scratch, even with the backing of Camper and the profile of the top athlete in the sport.
So how we are set up is, Normal is a company that was founded by Camper and Killian. So both of them are the founders and the owners, no? But then Normal as a company sits inside the Camper group, no? And in Normal nowadays we are a small team of 20 people. I would say young, passionate professionals about the industry, and myself, which is the old guy in the team, no? Most of them, they are 20 years less than me, so it's a challenge for me sometimes, but it's very interesting, no? So these 20 people are focusing on product development, marketing, and commercial. And then we have all the support from Camper team in shoemaking, so meaning all the prototypes and all the samples we do internally in Mallorca, and we have a small workshop, a small factory, so we do everything internally, and then we're able to test everything, no? Then, and this is the Camper team doing all the job. Then we have the supply chain from Camper, so we have a global supply chain with production in Europe, Vietnam, 3 distribution centers around the world. Then we have the finance structure, because as you know, it's quite complicated nowadays to manage a global brand with customs and duties and all the legal and fiscal requirements, no? And then we have also the technology and HR team. So this is all the back office that makes this possible. I think without this, it would be impossible. We have to start from scratch because all this know-how for camper, as I was telling you, has been 150 years. So it's not something that you can buy. No.
Right.
So if you don't have access to it, this means millions of euros of investment and means a lot of fear. So I think without this would be impossible. Also, I think without having Killian and his team also will be impossible because Killian is bringing all this brand awareness that is the same. It's something I think you cannot buy, or you have it, or it's quite complicated, no? And then, yeah, which are the main challenges, no? Because looks like having all this should be easy to build a brand, and yeah, our experience is that it's one of for me it's the most challenging project in my professional life. At the same time, it's very interesting because this happens once in your lifetime to be able to contribute or participate in building a brand, no? And I would say that I had three big challenges that we have faced or we are facing. Is the first one is that the brand expectations versus the reality. No? So we launched the brand, and the first day, people think that Normal is as big or has the same resources like Hoka or Salomon or any of these huge brands. And the reality is that no, we are starting from scratch as a team, and we are only having two shoes that we have to bring to the market, and we have to test that they work. We have to receive the feedback, and we have to improve them. So this, how to manage these expectations that the brand the first day is like something like this, and the reality is that you are very small, not easy, no?
Mm-hmm.
Then the second thing for me has been is to building the right team and the right culture. So the team we have set up is a part of it comes from Camper. It comes from apart from Kilian and Jordi's team, and the rest is, I was saying, young professionals from the industry that all of them are super passionate, but also we decided to start with a young team instead of hiring very seasonal executives because we wanted to build the culture and we want that the people grows with the company. No? And this
That's
what has
fascinating.
positives and negatives, obviously, because people is, well, all of us, we are super passionate about the brand. And then sometimes we miss some experience and we're making mistakes, and we learn. But this obviously creates some issues and we're doing some mistakes. And then the last thing is operational issues, as you can imagine, in supply chain, late deliveries, some production batch with quality issues, some problems with customers. So these are I would say, the three main things.
That is so fascinating. Just the idea of intentionally hiring a younger, maybe more energetic but less experienced team, and the positives and negatives that come along with that. Jordi, it'd be a good time to bring you back into the conversation here. Would love to hear some of the learning experiences or growth that you've been forced to go through as you transition from being simply, a Killian's manager and sort of working with talent to being internal within a brand, driving some of the strategy and direction. If there's anything that you can point to that's been particularly powerful as a learning experience for you, I'm sure people would love to hear.
Yeah, no, I think that was very interesting, no? Because as what you said, like I have been working like on this athlete side or more on the agency side, that the brands were our clients, and now like we switch to the other side, no? Like to build a brand and seeing the things from the kitchen, and then you see everything, no? But I think that it's a very different game, and I think that the business side of it for me it's what's super interesting, no? To be able to see like this 360 of the company, like going from marketing to product to finance, that learning the impact of every decision, no? Like, because when you were at the other side, you only see one part of the story. Now you see everything, and then you see that it's a game of balance, no? That maybe you cannot be 100% on one side, so that you need to find like the best decision for the company. And this is something that I think that we are still learning of it, but with Sito and all the camper team, that they are operating big business. It's a super helpful learning for me and also for Killian, no? Because also like on the board level, it's when we discuss more about the strategy, where to go. I think that we have a very interesting discussions, and there is where we mix like both cultures, no? Like from camper side, they are super like well known on the business side, and maybe from our side being more like fresh or like different, like, or coming from like a small environment. I think that it's a very good place to have like the discussions about the strategy. And I think that it's very healthy, no? Because everyone can say what everyone is thinking. Like maybe everyone is like having some different opinions, but like the good thing is like as this kind of marriage that we are having, that we can find these common agreements. And I think that so far it's also part of that that success, or that we are having like on our level, like on a very small level, but having this being able to find these compromises, no, of like what's important from both sides, and finding like the right balance. I think that for us is what we realize the most, no? And I think that, as it were saying, it's tough because everyone is doing more than one job. We are a small team, but at the same time, like the learning curve, it's super fast. Everyone is like giving his 100%, and is learning like I think that 100% faster than maybe in some other companies with this startup mentality that we are having, and that's super interesting.
I love that you have this fresh perspective now that you're sort of on the other side of the table when it comes to this whole process. I wonder, do you have now that you have this fresh perspective, do you think differently about how to work with athletes and activate athletes and build projects around athletes? Or are you still thinking about it sort of in the same way? I guess maybe this is a sort of tee up for the Alpine Connection discussion, but I'm really curious if was it a big awakening, or there are other athletes on Normal besides Killian. Do you think about it differently, or are you running the same playbook?
I think that we try to apply what we were always asking to the brands, that it's trust, and that they support like the athlete dreams, no? And this is what we try to build, like with the sports marketing team, with Mireia Miró. Like, she's the one leading it. She was like a ski mountaineering world champion. She was studying with Killian, so she was working like before at Limbus. She was managing Killian, so like I think that it's this environment that like knowing like what the athletes needs and how we can support them like on the best way. We feel that that's the best way. Then what we are looking for is this mix between performance and also values. I think that we have a very small team. Like we don't have like such a big athletes team, but I think that all of them are super special characters. They are super nice, and this is what at the end we are looking for, because like the value side for us, it's super important. Of course, we want that when they are in races, when they are in projects, that they can perform, and if they can deliver like a good result, that's fine. And for like the best example is Elhusin and what he did like during all the Golden Trail series, but especially this weekend. But then when you also know that like the human side, like all of them, they have like a super good deep histories. No, we see Dakota with the footprints camps. We see Ali with mental health. We see Killian like with the Killian Foundation. Emily with his like way of thinking on how has this sustainable living. No, I think that everyone is adding like a lot of value to the brand. And what we our like or our mission as a sports marketing team is to highlight also this value side. So we want to inspire people that yes, people can run fast, but it's not enough, or maybe it's not enough for us. No, we want to inspire people on how they can like see like the outdoors, and they can enjoy the outdoors. That at the end is part of the mission of the company, no? And we always say that we want to be 50% product, 50% values. This is like the normal DNA, and it needs to be mixed. And it's also how we try to set up this team and how we try to activate the athletes, no? And like the other example that you were mentioning is like the Alpine connections. For us it was like how we can explain who is Killian right now, no? Is someone who is looking for the maximum athletes performance, the finding the human limits, but at the same time, no, like with a foundation also involved, talking about the main challenge of this project, where the environment itself, and maybe if he did it 10 years before, it was a kind of easier for the terrain. So what he was facing now, and comparing into what he was facing 10 years ago, it was very different, no? And this reality is also what we try to explain, that we need to take care of that, and this is our mission as well as a company, as a sports marketing team, as a product team, no? So everyone has this mission into everything that we are doing. And for us, this, of course, like when a big project like this is happening, we try to show like the best of it, and mixing all these ingredients, no? Like the values, the content, and also how we can elevate Killian itself as a brand, no? Because like there are not so many projects like that, and like everything that he is doing is so unique that we need to try like first to explain it well, because like it's like such an amazing thing that most of the time is very hard to understand, like what he's doing on a performance side. So this is the first challenge, and then is try to put all the other ingredients as this, like the values and the product, no? Like it's a very good also way to test products for beer test team. Like our product director, it's perfect to test things and to see how the product can evolve, no? So with all this mix is how we try to build all the athlete side. That's very important for us.
Super interesting.
Sorry.
I'd love to go a little bit
I want to
deep.
add something.
Go ahead, Sito.
No, I wanted to add something to this because I think it's relevant. I think also these authentic athletes and authentic adventures also are helping the brand to create very real content. No? And I think nowadays this for the brand is like the oxygen. No, so it's a way to present the brand in a nice way, in a fresh way, showing what they really like. No, and then I think the content we are getting. We have some videos in YouTube if you want to check that are amazing. So
Yeah.
I think it's a win-win for the athletes and for the brand because both grow at the same time. So just I wanted to add this.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna steal that from now on. Content is oxygen. That's mine.
Put
now.
it on a
Yeah,
t-shirt.
it's a good way to put it.
Put it on a t-shirt. I'd love to go a little bit deeper on this. Aron, do you know who Elhusin is?
Please fill me
Okay.
in. I'm not as deep as you.
Jordi just mentioned this last weekend. Elhusin El-Azawi, who's a normal athlete, won the Golden Trail World Series, which is a season-long sub-ultra distance trail running series. It's definitely the most competitive international circuit in trail running, and Elhusin is a very interesting character, a Moroccan runner. They call him the Flying Camel, from what I understand. He's sort of like an outdoor mountain guide in the Atlas Mountains in his home country of Morocco. We've also just touched on the Alpine Connections project. I mentioned earlier that I was reading Killian's blog post about it, which is an incredible catalog of the entire experience, from planning to gear to the execution itself. But those two things are very different. One being a project, which Aron is very passionate about, and one being very high performance competition. Maybe talk a little bit about how both those incredible accomplishments from your two arguably top athletes impact the brand practically. Obviously, it may be hard to quantify how it increases sales, but I'm sure it's really positively impactful to have Elhusin on top of the podium and Killian doing this transformative endurance feat.
Yeah, no, I think that both projects are super complementary each other, no? And like the link as a brand that we have, like is of course is the gear and the support that we want to give them, like in their dreams, no? And I think that they are on a very different moments of his careers, Killian and Elhusin. So Killian is motivated to do a bit of everything because this year he was also competing in Zegama, Siertinal, and then like ending with this big project. And well, it's as Killian itself, as a brand itself, and as normal, it's a way to think is how we can elevate Killian, how we can inspire even more people with what Killian is doing, no? And this was a bit like our homework during all this project. And then like for Elhusin, I think that it's more like this passion about the performance, no? Like and achieving a dream. Like he was super committed to this goal that was performing at the highest level on the best trail running races. And for us as a brand, it's a kind of like both validation of the athlete that someone can have like like or can be top in the performance and top in the values. And this is something that we are going to explain like on a deeper story about Elhusin, because our mission, we feel that it's that people know more about this kind of characters because it's super inspiring, because every time that we met him it's super nice. And I think that as a brand we need to elevate like these characters, because at the end they are humans, they have their challenge, and they are much more than a trail running like elite, no? And I think that mixing them like this link, no, is about the product, and is a very interesting way for us to show that our products can perform at the maximum level, like with Elhusin, with Killian, and with all the others.
Aron,
I want to add that you asked what's the impact on the business of this. So I think well, first of all, I think these are our marketing campaigns. No, as we are a small company, we don't have big budgets to do advertisement. So these are our organic way to show the brand and so people discover the brand. No, and I think the information we can share is that when Killian did this Alpine collection, the reach more people than when we presented the brand or when he won Zegama or even UTMB. Mm-hmm. No? So for me, this was a surprise because Jordi was always telling me, no, this will reach more people, no? And I was thinking, okay, I doubt this, no? Then, nowadays you can measure this reach, no? In social media or visits to the website, no? And comparing the two metrics, we're getting more visits and more people discovering the brand when Killian does these adventures. Then if you think about it, it makes sense because trail running is still a niche sport, and when you do an adventure, maybe everybody could be interested about it. No? So I wanted to share this information.
That is so fascinating. Aron, did you happen to follow any of the Alpine Connections project?
I've seen a fair bit of it, yeah.
Yeah. So Aron is very passionate about, the distinction between projects and competition and project athletes versus competitive athletes. And I think that is evidence to the power that these personal projects can have commercially and on a consuming audience. And content being oxygen, it provides a great opportunity for that storytelling. And speaking of which, it also provides an interesting opportunity to showcase new products. So one of the things that I really enjoyed in following Killian's Alpine Connections project was following him on Instagram and then zooming in on what looked like some very cool outerwear and new technical pieces that he was using in the highest mountains of Europe. Sito, maybe this is a good question for you. Obviously, it's a good opportunity to test new design concepts, outerwear, things like that. Any takeaways from it? Is this something that our fans
I
of
think
Normal can look for in the near future?
you have a good zoom. And I think you nailed the question. So from brand point of view, as Jordi was saying, we're using these expeditions to test product. No, so obviously he was using one of our shoes, the Tommy 2, and we were testing a new waterproof membrane that we're going to present in theory in a few months. So if you're there, you
we'll
will
see you
it.
there.
So the Killian tested the shoe for during these 19 days, and maybe we will bring it there. Maybe it's a good idea to bring it there to show people how how the shoe end up after these 19 days in the Alps. No, and then on top of the footwear, that as you can imagine, we are evolving. We take the opportunity to start testing some prototypes about backpacks, about insulation jackets, tights, no, and some of these products are even prototypes that Killian has done himself, and others, our product department, and these are just prototypes. They are not in the market, and we are just testing and learning. And maybe in a few years' time, they will reach the market if some of them are good enough.
So cool. Lucy, anything else from you?
I'm just wondering what the future looks like with the portfolio of athletes that you have. I mean, you mentioned that athletes that are developing content and doing these adventures are reaching and making a big impact. Is that sort of like what you're thinking? Does it need to be a balance between racers who can prove out the ability of the shoe to win races versus doing adventures? Is it like a perfect mix, or where do you see it kind of evolving?
I think that as we are a small brand, we cannot go like super big or to grow a lot like the athletes team. And any addition for us, like it's more important that they have this mix between performance, and performance could mean like the winning races, or it could mean like to have such an amazing projects that we can use to create content and to share it with the people, but always mix with this value side, no? And we need to ask the athlete why you want to do this project, like what inspires you, what drives you, and then we need to have the capability as a brand to commit 100% to this project, because as Sito was saying, we are a small team, and we need to have this capacity like to create this oxygen, no, like with and sometimes we are lacking like in the team this oxygen, no, because like we are doing so many things, so we need to select. But for the athletes, we need to have this balance, no, and from the sports marketing team, they basically they want that the athlete feels themselves, like if they want to do some project, we will try to support, and it needs to make sense for both of us. And but for example, for Dakota, no, like he's doing the footprints, so we are trying to help them as a brand, so in another way. But I think that we need to try to support like all of them in the way that they feel comfortable, and of course that this could help or has an impact for the brand. It could be like in views, it could be in values, it could be in product testing. So we need to find like the different KPIs alongside the different projects or the different personalities. But say that like for sure that these projects or these big races, yeah, it helps a lot. It gives you visibility, and like and at the end it has a big impact for such a small team like us.
So a couple observations from me for our audience to take away. Number one, the company's platform being 50% product, 50% value, and that also being reflected in the athlete team. That's something that is intuitive, but I didn't fully explicitly download that. But looking at people like Dakota, Ali Ostrander, Kilian Jornet, and others, it's very evident that intentional philosophy was adhered to with cultivating the athlete team. And number two, the importance of focus, right? I think it would be very easy for you, especially with a marquee athlete like Killian, who is so diverse and well-rounded in his skill set, to try and expand into every single outdoor vertical. And over time, maybe that'll be the case, but for a small brand to grow organically and sustainably over time, maintaining that focus over the long term. I have one more question before we start winding it down here, and that is just, innovation and how that fits into the values. And I think there's two interesting examples of this from what I know about Normal. One is the K-Boix shoe. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And then also the K-Boix and the resoling project, both of which are innovative, new, differentiated in the market, but they reflect the deeper values of the brand. Sito, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, thank you for this question because for us, the values is very important at this moment when we are launching the brand. No? And we're starting with the sustainability value, and then what we're thinking about it is how we take it down. No? Because as you know, all the brands are talking about sustainability. No? And we thought, okay, we have to find something that is real. No? And we came up with the idea of durability of our shoes. No? And we measured the durability of our Jerac shoe, and we had an average of 1,200 kilometers. This in miles, I don't know, it's 800 or 700, more or less. No? And I think we've been one of the first brands to measure it. We asked 500 of our consumers to share the information with us, and we plotted all the cases, and this average was 1,200, starting with 800 to 1,600. So 1,600 was Killian, because the guy runs on the is very light and runs so well that he can make them last longer. No, but so this is a way for us to put us pressure to do good quality products and also try to influence the industry. Because as you know, you've been a runner all your life, so you know that some of the shoes doesn't last so much. So for us, durability is important. No? Then after durability, we thought, how can we expand the durability? And the first project was this resoling, and we partnered with Vibram cobblers. There is around 3,000 cobblers in Europe and US, which are trained by Vibram and consequently with Normal, so they can resole the shoes. So if you resole the shoes, maybe you get, I don't know, 1,000 kilometers more of this shoe if the midsole and the upper are okay. No? So this was super cool project. We started half a year ago, and it's very relevant, and the consumers are super happy, and the cobblers are happy, and us as a brand, very happy that the shoes can extend the lifetime with resoling. No? And then about Caboche, this is more linked to innovation. No? And I would say it's our first innovation. This comes from Killian's product vision, that I think the first day we met, he already put on the table this project of having a modular shoe, a versatile shoe, and a very durable shoe. No? And obviously he wanted to do a shoe that can do everything, and then we have to limit a bit for the first version. No? And we came up with this idea of 3 midsoles that you can change. So obviously this extends the durability of the shoe, no? And also can adapt to different terrains and different users. No? Then this product we are launching to the market in 1 month, and we're going on to produce 500 units. It's a very special product. And basically what we want is to bring it to the market, that the consumers, the early adopters try it, give us feedback to us, and then to learn. No? So for us, this is our line of innovation, this Caboche, and we're starting with this first version, and let's see where it takes us in the future.
So cool. Aron, any closing comments or questions for Jordi or Sito?
I guess we've talked about the brand so much, but I'm curious to know, where you guys draw inspiration from as you're growing this brand. Are there other brands out there? It doesn't have to be footwear brands, but are there other places where you draw inspiration or you take cues from, or that are kind of interesting to you? I know we'll probably get to BPC later, but I just curious if there's anything that really kind of inspires you.
So are you talking about product, about marketing, about business models? Because depends on what you have in mind, I can answer one thing or the other.
I think it's wide open for whatever makes most sense to you, because I think we all take inspiration from so many different places. But if there is something, sorry to put you on the spot, but I'm just curious if there's.
No, it's a good question, and it's a tough one. No, this is a bit more personal opinion because at the end we're very different in the company. But I would say from a company values point of view, we look a lot of inspiration to Patagonia. We read the book of Let My People Go Surfing that explains why they build the company. So I think from a values point of view, Patagonia has been a reference, no? And one of the things we copy from them is this 1% from the planet,
Mm-hmm.
which means that 1% of our sales are going to the Kilian Jornet Foundation. No? And at the same time, also, we launched the company being B Corp. No? This is because the Camper Group got the certification, and as we are. So if you are asking me from brand values point of view, I would say Patagonia very, very clearly. No?
Cool.
Jordi, any inspiring stuff for you to close us down here?
I think that's a hard one, because there are a lot of people who are doing now amazing stuff, as you are guys like are having here some of them. So no, as it was saying, like we always want to have this mix, no, between having like a very good performance and being also like a standard on the value side, and then also adding that also we need to be ourselves, no, like this is like what will make us unique. So we have two great founders, Camper and Killian, with such a long like history behind that for the people who are working there, I think that we are super inspired also by them, from what Camper has been doing from 150 years, this long vision, family business, and also from all the things that Killian like has been doing. I think that it's such a great way of inspiration. Sometimes when you look back and so you look what you did, no, and I think that it's we don't do that like too often because like everything is happening super fast. But when you have these periods that you can like stop and reflect a bit on what we did as or as a company, what Killian did, what Camper did, and I think that's great also to find some inspiration there, to look back into what we wanted to be, like who we are, how we can improve, and to have this also constant challenge that how we can be like a little bit better every day. Like we know that we are far from perfect, but we want to have this motivation, to go there and to try to inspire ourselves and to inspire everyone who wants to join our community.
Awesome. Well, Jordi, Sito, it's great to get to know you guys a little bit. Congratulations on all the progress that you've made with NNormal. It's been awesome to just watch this brand grow from nothing into something that I think is already in a leadership position, at least within the trail running industry, especially looking at the performances of Elhusin recently and the, of course, heroic accomplishments of Killian and the products that power them on the journey. I'm sure it's not easy every day, but it's inspiring to watch. So congratulations. Good luck with the future. Thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having us and giving visibility to our brand, and hope to meet you in person soon if you go to TRE or
we'll
some
see
other
you at
places.
TRE. All right.
Dylan, we blew it, man. We should have just gone to Mallorca and hung out with these
Yeah.
guys.
You are invited. You got my invitation, and it's a nice trip.
And then the next time we're gonna record this in person from Mallorca. It'll be great.
Nice, yes. Thank you, guys.
Very nice
Thank
to
you,
meet
guys. Cheers.
Bye bye.